firstly, good morning, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Dawn Franklin, and I'll be hosting the panel discussion this morning. So welcome, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to be here. Everybody's got a microphone now. So I'll shoot straight into the questions. I know you've had these in advance just to have a little think about it. So question number one I've got for everybody. I'll take a seat here. How do you see the recent growth in Forex trading in the Middle East? Do you want to kick us off?
I have the mic. I'll start. So as you mentioned, there's definitely been a growth over the last few years in the region, and that's attributed to several factors. First being, we're seeing more of an adoption of FX as a true asset class, to be compared with, more traditional asset classes, stocks, bonds, etc. Another thing we have seen is an increased activity in CFD trading in particular. So here I'm referring to indices, cash or spot or future indices. We're seeing basically from the MENA region, where predominantly the volume was traded on majors, gold, oil. Now we're seeing a lot of activity trading these indices. So at ADSS, at any given time, in any day, you'll always find the Dow Jones and the DAX in particular are always amongst the top 10 traded symbols by volume. Sometimes even break into the top 5 if the volatility is there. So, we do have a global footprint and clients trading from all over the world, but, our strongest foothold is in the MENA region. So that's definitely contributes to that. Lastly, and probably most importantly, is the creation of a brand new client segment that was always there, but it was much smaller, which is the younger generation of traders. Usually that segment, so I've been in the market for around 12 years. When we first entered the market, they weren't our target, obviously due to their limited purchase power and investment appetite, because we're talking basically about either fresh grads or new entrants to the workforce. So we're seeing a different shift, and that segment is getting bigger, and bigger. I attribute that to the internet, is the major adoption of the internet, ease of access of information, tools to help trading, as well as the ability for brokers to have more targeted advertisements at certain venues to certain age groups. So I think these three factors contributed to the growth.
Lovely, very insightful. Thank you very much. I'm going to bounce backwards, if that's okay, so we don't miss Tariq. Welcome, Tariq. So I'll just repeat the question for you. How do you feel the recent growth has continued in Forex trading in the Middle East?
Actually, they told me to prepare the answers in Arabic, so sorry, I will answer in Arabic.
Tariq's going to be our Arabic speaker for the Arabic guys.
شهدت تجارة الفوركس في السنوات العشر الأخيرة نمو ملحوظ، وخصوصا بعد الأزمة العالمية المالية في 2008 صار في إقبال من الناس على التجارة بالعملات كالبحث عن مصدر دخل إضافي. ما بننكر إنه كمان صار في عنا وعي بالنسبة للمتداول العربي بأنواع الشركات بأنواع التراخيص. هذا الشيء عمل المنافسة بين شركات التداول بشكل عام أقوى، فبالتالي صار اليوم المتداول العربي عم بيحصل على خدمات أكبر وأفضل من اللي كان عم يحصل عليها بعام 2008 و2009. بس لازم ننوه، لأنه بالرغم من القيود اللي فرضتها بعض الدول العربية على مجال تداول العملات والتضييقات اللي صارت، إلا أنه النمو وأحجام المتداولين وأحجام التعاملات اليومية لا زالت في استمرارية وصعودية بالرغم من هذه القيود اللي صارت.
Lovely, thank you very much, Tariq. My Arabic is a little bit rusty at the moment, but I'm sure that was very insightful. Okay, so Mohammed, if we can get your opinion as well, thank you.
Sure. First of all, I would like to thank you all for attending this panel discussion. Firstly, I'd like to indicate the main reason of the rapid growth of the FX market in the Middle East. I consider the increase of the awareness of the investor in the Middle East about the FX product the main reason why the FX market now is being boomed since, I believe, 2008. Let me share with you my own experience. Like, I started my career almost at 2008, and I believe at this time, no more brokers were established in Dubai or UAE in general. But as you might see now, there are a lot of brokers. I can say that there is almost 1,500 brokers maybe registered in MT4. 10% or 11% out of this number, they have like entities in UAE, they have regulated entities, they have rep offices in Dubai and other cities in UAE and also other areas in the Middle East. I can say that the reason of why this rapid growth has happened because the investor in the Middle East or the Arabian investor generally, he always keeps looking for an alternative trading tools than the equity markets. So I believe due to the easy access to the FX market, this allowed actually the investor in the Middle East to get an easy understanding, an easy trading tool, an easy execution for his targeted, whatever I call it, positions or profits or whatever. I would like also to indicate like a very important point. There was a report issued by Bloomberg. I think the report belongs to 2016. It mentioned that the daily volume of the global FX volume is around $5.3 trillion a day. The Middle East market represents out of this volume 8%, and this figure actually belongs to 2013. To be honest, I don't have the exact current figure that belongs to 2019, but I believe this number or this percentage has been already increased at that time. So my vision to the FX market in the Middle East is really positive. I believe that a lot of opportunities is still waiting this market. A lot of things we are going to have and to see in this market that related to the FX industry. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Some very interesting figures there. And Rajesh Sekar, if you can give us your opinion as well.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. First, to speak about this particular region from last decade and so, it was a gradually growing market and has been a very potential market from last 10 years. If I go back in the history like 10 years, the retail Forex trading maybe is not as aggressive as it of today. Maybe there are some reasons for it. The accessibility of the product for this region is not as much as of today on the instruments which people are trading, and also maybe the cost and everything that was not competitive enough at that point of time. So right now, if you see, there are more brokers targeting this region. That itself tells what kind of potential is there in this market. If I take the addressable market, like if I take MENA region as addressable market, and the potential in that market is quite huge. If you can see, compared to other regions, the people are not much more mature as in this region. So the potential of the market gets much more bigger here. And the accessibility for them to trade is much easier, like compared to other regions to make a deposit or something from the regulators. It's quite hard. Like the regions in India is very hard, but if you see the MENA regions, it's very flexible for them to come forward, open an account, and trade. All these instruments are available for them. And moreover, it's a kind of market where people like to be more speculative, and they look for different instruments to trade, different markets to trade for their investments. So I see this market is much more advanced in terms of traders, brokers, all the stuff. So I see myself as a very potential market going forward as well.
Lovely, thank you very much. If we can hand the microphone back down. Okay, so my next question for the panel is, why do you feel that people in the Middle East and Africa choose Forex trading over other types of investment and business opportunities?
Thank you. لأنه في نظرا للأزمة الاقتصادية اللي عم بتمر فيها المنطقة ككل، يعني منطقة الشرق الأوسط وشمال أفريقيا بشكل عام بالسنوات الأخيرة عم بتمر بأزمة اقتصادية، وقلة الفرص المتاحة أمام الطبقة المتوسطة خلت الناس تبحث عن بدائل دخل إضافي. هاي البدائل حاولت تبحث عنها في الأسواق المحلية، اصطدمت في تعقيدات وإجراءات. حتى في المشاريع الصغيرة أنت لما بدك تفتح مشروع صغير عم تتواجه مع إجراءات بيروقراطية وتعقيدات. هذا الشيء ما لقيوه موجود بالفوركس، لأنه فتح حساب تداول أو البدء في التداول بالفوركس بسيط جدا. لقيوا إنه التكلفة اللي عم تتقاضاها شركات الوساطة لحتى يستثمروا في هذا المجال تكلفة لا تذكر. الشفافية في الأسواق المالية بأسواق الفوركس بشكل عام خلت عند الناس ثقة إنه أنا أشتغل في هذا المجال، أستثمر في هذا المجال أفضل لي بالنسبة لي من إني أستثمر في الأسواق المحلية. بس لكن لازم ما ننسى إنه في كثير من الأخوة المبتدئين بنوا أحلام وردية وبنوا توقعات مبالغ فيها على الأرباح اللي ممكن يحققوها من التداول بالعملات. للأسف هذا الإشي تسبب لهم خسائر، لأنهم دخلوا الأسواق بدون وعي وبدون علم، ودخلوا بناء على توقعات غير منطقية للأسواق. فأي تعامل غير منطقي، أي توقعات غير منطقية للأرباح اللي ممكن تتحقق من التداول راح تسبب خسائر بالأسف. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you, Tariq. Over to Mohammed.
Omar.
Omar, sorry.
That's okay.
Over to Omar.
So everybody here on the panel has discussed, the growth in the region, but I don't think necessarily FX has replaced anything per se. I think it's complemented other investment vehicles and asset classes. I mean, Dubai, for example, everybody knows the real estate market is down, but they're recording record numbers in transactions year on year. This is, growth from last year. However, that being said, people follow opportunity, people follow volatility, any chance to make money. With kind of stock markets in the region being somewhat stagnant, till recently oil was, the prices were low. So people look for these opportunities. Just to touch briefly on the point I made in your previous question about this new generation of traders, they're entering the market or hearing about the market, let's say, because of cryptos, for example, so they're seeing this big volatility and stories of, multiple X's on investment. So there's a yearning for, volatility, basically. So they follow that. FX, always has its volatile periods, which is, an opportunity to make money as well.
Much, Omar. Mohammed.
Okay, so I share my opinion at this point particularly by getting back to 2008. I believe at that time, or before that time, the direction of the investors was about going to the equity markets, and it was like the destination for most of the investors, especially in the GCC markets. Following the financial crisis, the investors has recognized that there are more opportunities in the FX market, more returns, the usage of the FX trading itself is more easy and more accessible. So this is actually the first part of my answer of this question. Second part, the available tools in the FX market or FX trading, which is not available in the local market or the stocks market. For instance, I mentioned like the short sell, for instance, short sell tool. It's not available in the stocks market. So most of the people, they are not forced only to buy. Sometimes they predict the price to go down and they need to short sell. So this also is a good reason to attract the investors to this market. Second reason, the leverage. Imagine you can double your original capital to 100 times, 200 times, 300 times. This option also isn't available in the stocks market. So all of these things is only available in the FX market. Also, I'm mentioning the hedging tool as well. So all of these tools actually it attracts the investor to this market. The easy access to the market within 24 hours, anywhere the trader can do his trades by himself, wherever he's in mobile or he's in his desktop or whatever. So by final description of the FX market comparing to other investment areas, I think FX market is the most easy place for the investor that could invest and could make a result out of what he's looking for. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. And Rajasekar.
Yeah, from my point, it's a lucrative business in FX trading is because, as it was pointed, the leverage would be the first issue. And if I go back like a decade, you know, the market is known to a little less retail people, and then they were trying to experiment and stuff. But if you look at right now, people know about it, and they have many tools to access. So it's very lucrative for them to come in. So they don't basically have many restrictions to trade in Forex, like maybe if you take stocks or something, maybe they have like the limitation to trade for the day. But for Forex, it's almost like 24/5, and with cryptocurrencies, it's about 24/7 at the moment. So it's very convenient, and in terms of MENA region, as I said, it's basically accessibility and the easiness of doing the business here as a trader or as a broker, both sides. So if I look at those point of view, yeah, there is a lot of scope for people to explore this region. And also, if I take the addressable market like before, if I want to address this market, the people in that market, most of the people would know about speculativeness. Either they trade FX or stocks, but they are looking for feasibility, like the Forex and then cryptocurrencies as well at the moment, which makes them very liquid, especially in the MENA region. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you very much. So if we can pass the microphone back down. So my next question, for those people that are not actively trading yet, what is the correct way to get into Forex trading, especially in the MENA region?
الدخول بمرحلة تداول العملات أو بتجارة تداول العملات مثل أي تجارة أخرى، مثل أي مجال علمي آخر، لازم يبدأ بمرحلة علمية تفصيلية. يبدأ الشخص بالدراسة من الألف إلى الياء، ثم بعد ما ينتهي من الدراسة النظرية بده ينتقل لمرحلة التطبيق العملي من خلال الحسابات التجريبية، الديمو أكاونتس. هذه الديمو أكاونتس مش موجودة في أي سوق في العالم إلا بسوق الفوركس. أنت بإمكانك تطبق كل الاستراتيجيات اللي تعلمتها، بإمكانك تطبق كل الأمور اللي أنت تعلمتها على السوق من غير ما تخسر ولا شيء. بعد الدراسة العملية والدراسة النظرية بده ينتقل الشخص إلى مرحلة الحوار. بده يبدأ يطرح أسئلة على مواقع التواصل الاجتماعي بالمنتديات الحوارية. عم بيكتسب الخبرة من الأشخاص الآخرين اللي عندهم خبرة أكثر منه. وهنا بيبرز دور مهم اللي هو الندوات التعليمية اللي بتقوم فيها شركات الوساطة وبعض المدربين المعتمدين. هاي الندوات لقيوا فيها المبتدئين إنها عم تعطيهم المعلومة مباشرة. هو عم ياخذ المعلومة مباشرة وبشكل مبسط، وهو بيشعر بالثقة أكبر لأنه هو عم ياخذها من الأشخاص بالنسبة له هذول محترفين، وهذول عم يعطوه المعلومة الصحيحة في الوقت الصحيح. فبالتالي لازم نعزز هذه الندوات التعليمية، سواء من الشركات، سواء من الأفراد، سواء من المراكز التدريبية. يكون في عندنا مراكز تدريبية في العالم العربي تكون مختصة لتدريب الفوركس وتعليم الفوركس. هذا الشيء راح يكون الطريق الصحيح للبدء في التداول بالعملات. أما اللي راح يبدأ بالتداول من غير علم، من غير ما يبدأ بمرحلة التعليم، للأسف راح يربح بعض الأحيان من خلال الحظ، من خلال تجارب طائشة، ولكن بالنهاية راح تترتب عليه راح يخسر، والخسارة يوم عن يوم راح تزيد لأنه ما بدأ بالطريقة الصحيح.
Lovely, thank you, Tariq. Over to Omar.
I agree with Tariq completely. You can't stress enough the importance of education and training, reading up, demo accounts. That's very important. I mean, and as a broker, you have a responsibility to educate your clients at the same time, not just simply to get them to open accounts. You know, excuse me. At ADSS, I think we do like 3 to 4 seminars a month at least, you know, all over the region. And one other thing is, obviously you need to practice on demo accounts, but I would extend that training period or educational period into the live account as well. You know, where you start off small with a live account, and that's probably, you know, for anybody who's traded will testify that it's actually most important, because that's when, you know, the emotions come in, you're losing money, you're making money, and this is where you need to build that experience to be able to, you know, react to the way the market is moving.
Lovely, thank you very much. Mohammed?
Yes, to answer this question, actually, I get back to the first point I highlighted in the first question I answered, which is the increasement of the awareness of the client. Why this awareness has happened, actually, since that time, we talk about 2008 until now. Of course, we cannot compare the trader of 2008 and the trader of 2019 today. A lot of things have changed. Many things actually happened in the FX market related to the available materials, educational forums. You can find a lot of online forums like that educate FX tradings, educate technical analysis, talks about fundamental analysis. Each broker, like, they have their own financial analyst, that they have daily YouTube shows, that they have a daily TV appearance. So I invite all the investors to watch such materials. As my colleagues in the panel indicated, demo account is very necessary actually before starting a live trading. It's something really interesting to have like a demo account. You watch yourself, you test yourself. You practice your education results out of studying the technical analysis. You have to know something about the Japanese candles, for instance, the support and resistance. All of these things is very necessary to be known by the investor before going live to the trading. One more thing, when the trader starts live trading, my advice to him is not to start with a big amount. He could start with a small amount. As Omar has indicated, you could start just for testing his live trading ability, and using during this experience of testing his abilities on trading, using like a lower leverage. It doesn't be necessary to be high leverage to avoid the risk. So all of these points I highlight as my advice for any beginner comes to the FX market, or anyone wants to be more experienced and wants to have like a lot of results or positive results out of the FX trading. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you very much. And Rajasekhar?
Well, from my point of view, to have better things, to have an education first, they need to be well educated on the markets they're trading about. And one of the biggest points I see with the traders is not having the realistic expectations. They actually have to come in the realistic expectation, although there is a lot of leverage. But you know, leverage is going to be like two-way sword. So they need to understand how to actually manage this leverage from themselves. And other biggest point is to find the right trading strategy. Not everyone is rightly tuned in certain frequency. They can have short-term trades or medium-term trades or long-term trades. So you need to find out yourself what's the frequency you're in, what kind of trader you are, so that that actually fits into your psychology. Because in trading, from my point, rather than having trading a long time, it's the psychology that plays most of the play role. So you need to be very psychologically fit to manage all your trades. And apart from that, the money management they want to use, they need to be very precise about it, because the damage you do to your account is going to be very costly to recover back. So you need to be very conservative in terms of trading with certain particular trading strategies and having a realistic expectation. So you need to know what is the outcome. For example, when you're entering the trade, most people basically focus on how much they're going to get out of the trade rather than how much they're going to lose on the trade. So they forget that side. So from my point, what you have to do is first you need to understand how much you're going to lose for that particular trade. Is that not going to be very risky? So that actually sets you in a comfortable state to be in a right psychological point of view. Another point, as the colleague said here, you can have that on your demo trading, and you can test your strategies manually, or if you're an algo trader, you can put that into work, maybe with a small account. Maybe some brokers even offer cent accounts. They can go with a very cent account to have a real experience in the market, and then you slowly get onto the capitals you want to invest and move on with the market. Yeah, that will be my point of view.
Lovely, thank you very much. Okay, the next question I'd like to ask you then is, what is your opinion of the regulations around trading in the Middle East and Africa, and do you find it trader friendly? Over to you, Tariq, thank you.
مع الأسف أكبر مشكلة عم بتواجه المتداولين في العالم العربي اليوم هي مشكلة التراخيص. للأسف التراخيص الموجودة معقدة وما عم تحمي المتداول العربي بشكل صحيح. ضعف التراخيص أدى لأنه إحنا نشوف شركات ضعيفة المستوى عم تتواجد اليوم بالسوق ومستمرة وعم تقوم بخداع المتداولين. وللأسف هاي التراخيص كمان أنا لما بكون تحت هذا الترخيص كمتداول أنا ما عم بحصل حقوقي بشكل كامل ولا في حماية حقيقية بالنسبة لإلي. للأسف نشعر ببعض الأحيان إنه التراخيص والهيئات الرقابية العربية حتى الشركات لما تروح تقدم طلب ترخيص لإلها بتتواجه بأنه هي عم بتعقد الإجراءات، عم تطلب متطلبات صعبة. في بعض الأحيان عم نشعر إنه هاي الهيئات ما بدها الناس ترخص، عم بتعقد الإجراءات لسبب أو لآخر. فهذه المشكلة خلقت عدم ثقة عند المتداول العربي. أنا الآن لما بسمع إنه في ترخيص عربي جديد أو في هيئة رقابية عربية جديدة، طالما أنا مو شايف نتائجها على أرض الواقع، مو شايف إنها فعلا إذا أنا تعرضت لعملية خداع، إذا أنا تعرضت لمشكلة عم تقدر إنها تجيب لي حقي، فبصفي ثقتي في الأسواق شوي بتقل. فلذلك الناس صارت عم تتوجه للتداول بالأسواق الخارجية لأنه ما في ترخيص عربي محلي رح يحميك بشكل كافي. شكرا.
Lovely, thank you. Omar.
So when it comes to regulation, there's globally now, all regulators are kind of closing up and being more strict. I'm sure all of you are familiar with, ESMA and MiFID II regulations that's kind of tightened up the way brokers operate. Now, as a result of that, we're actually seeing a lot of companies open representation offices here in the UAE to operate under this environment, or starting up new brokerages here. So I think it's an opportunity for the region and the UAE in particular to kind of step up their game when it comes to regulation, because there's a central bank license which is not so easily attainable. But then you have, the DIFC and ADGM and Dubai and Abu Dhabi that are, they're not quite there yet, but they're making the right moves to set the correct framework for brokers to operate and, create a good environment for them to come. So I'd like to see more and more progression, especially as it is an opportunity. You have brokers from outside coming here. The talent pool is here to run full-fledged brokerage services. We have some countries like Lebanon, for example, tightened up, squeezed their regulation, kind of forcing everybody out. It's good to see Jordan actually had previously closed up, the market in terms of, regulation and licenses. Now they're back in full force, and we're seeing high numbers of companies set up there as their headquarters in the region. So it's positive, but still room for improvements.
Very true. Thank you very much. Mohammed.
Thank you. So, actually the major problem that faces FX brokers, mainly in the Middle East or the Arabia region, is the regulatory. If we calculate the number of the countries that allows the regulatory of FX and the Arab wallet, I can't say they are very few. UAE, of course, is one of them, Kuwait. Jordan recently has applied a regulatory license that ensures that FX brokers could practice this activity inside Jordan. Yeah, referring back actually to the conditions of each regulation, of course, it's different from a regulator to another one. For instance, UAE Central Bank is one of the most reputable regulators in the UAE or maybe in the Middle East. But as Omar said, of course, it's not easy to be obtained by any FX broker. We have also the IFC, we have ADGM, but I believe these regulatory bodies, they are not that much friendly to the retail client as much as they are friendly to the institutional client. So we face actually a problem in terms of the regulatory for the FX brokers, for the FX markets. Hence, and from this place, I'd like to take this opportunity just to invite the people who are concerned to this area especially to study the opportunities that should be generated out of the FX market for this region and for the Middle East in general. Thank you so much.
Lovely, thank you very much. Rajesh Sekhar.
Yeah, the regulators, as we know every day, it's getting stricter and harder. Most of the brokers, it has actually started from the US first, cutting down the leverage and stuff. And then most of the brokers have been operating offshore. And then, yeah. But if you see recently, that's not going to be the option. And it's getting tighter and tighter because the regulatory body is also very careful about this particular business, which is very lucrative for everyone to get started. So they want to be very sure about to have the right people operating the business and stuff. So from my point, if I look at the MENA region, it's not as hard as the other regions getting every day tighter, and it's literally becoming very hard for the brokers as well, which is under Europe or recently in the, even in Australia, right? So if I look at the cases, MENA region is still flexible, and it would be more lucrative to be looking at the business here with the frameworks they have, which is still feasible to operate in this kind of market. But overall, it's an overall problem which is going across. But the best would be the MENA region still in that case.
Lovely, thank you very much. Yeah?
Yeah, just to add one more point. So when it comes to regulation, it's a bit of a slippery slope. And what we've seen that's happened in the UK and in Europe, when you tighten it up too much, that creates an issue as well. Because all that does, FX trading is here to stay. Whoever wants to trade Forex will find a venue to trade Forex, and they'll have them available to him no matter where he is. But it forces people to actually go, offshore, and companies to open subsidiaries and offshore entities and have offshore entities just to facilitate the business. So it's a bit of a, kind of like a go around. Ultimately, people are going to trade, so it's not easy, but it's the regulator's responsibility to kind of find a balance between the two. Obviously, most importantly, protecting retail investors, but at the same time, maintaining a good environment for the brokers to operate.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. So I'd like to conclude our morning panel with one final question and just get your opinions on what you think the current Forex trends are in the MENA region.
هلا زي ما حكينا بالبداية إنه سوق الفوركس بشكل عام بالعالم العربي شهد نمو كبير بالفترة 10 سنوات سابقة بالعشر سنوات الماضية، ولكن حتى نحافظ على هذا النمو حتى نحافظ على هذه الاستمرارية احنا محتاجين نفعل 3 عوامل رئيسية. العامل الأول محتاجين نحسن التراخيص ونفعل دور الهيئات الرقابية بشكل صحيح لحتى تحمي المتداول في المنطقة العربية. العامل الثاني بدنا نحاول نتفاوض مع بعض الحكومات العربية اللي عم تفرض قيود على مجال تداول العملات، لأنه هذه القيود عم تتسبب إنه المتداولين عم يتجهوا لشركات غير مرخصة، لشركات وهمية لحتى يتداولوا بهذا المجال. فلازم نتفاوض مع هاي الحكومات، نلاقي طريقة إن نتفاوض معها فيها لحتى على الأقل نخفف هذه الشروط، منها شروط السحب والإيداع لا يعقل أنا كمستثمر أو متداول أنا عندي حساب عندي ربح $100,000 و$50,000 وأنا غير قادر على سحبها لأنه البنك تبعي عم يرفض الحوالة. فهذه مشكلة رئيسية لازم نحلها. النقطة الأخيرة اللي احنا كمان لازم نشتغل عليها ونستمر فيها موضوع زيادة الوعي، زيادة المعرفة عند المتداول العربي. لازم نزيد الندوات التعليمية، نزيد المراكز التعليمية. للأسف ما في مراكز مرخصة بشكل رسمي لحتى تعلم تداول العملات. فإحنا إذا زدنا هذا الشيء رح نوصل للنتيجة إن رح نرفع الوعي ونرفع مهارة المتداول العربي، بالتالي نقلل من خسائره ويحقق أرباح في هذا المجال. شكرا.
Lovely, thank you. Omar.
So trends. So I touched a bit about this new segment of younger traders, so that's increasing, as well as trading activity on CFDs. That's kind of like a trend now, as well as you know, over the last maybe 3 to 4 years, there's been a drastic increase of trading activity happening on a mobile phone. You know, perhaps maybe in the Western markets, they were a bit ahead of us in that, but now you see upwards of 60–70% of trades actually being executed on the mobile phone. So, you know, to develop and your applications, your trading applications on the mobile phone is very important as well.
Brilliant, thank you. Mohammed.
So what I can say, this market is really promising, but we need to invest the opportunities in this market well. I mean by this, we need a better regulatory. Although there are no more regulations in the Middle East for FX companies, the investors in the Middle East and in the Arab region in general, they go to offshore companies and they start trading and they invest heavy amounts of them. I believe having this this part of investors to be investing their funds inside the Middle East is much better than investing their funds like outside the Middle East. So what I can say, we have a lot of opportunities out of this region we need to take care of. Also, for the investor side, I believe the people now, the awareness about the challenges they faced before in a previous time, they are treating it rapidly in a better way. So my main concern at this point that I invite the investors in the Middle East to make sure they put their funds in the right place and to get educated very well before they go further with any decision. Thank you.
Raja Sekar.
So from my points, the current forex trading situation in MENA region, apart from the regulations that we take part out of it, it's going to be more lucrative because of the technology that has gone too far from last 1 decade. Like it was mentioned by the mobile, right? Now you can be anywhere, you can still trade whatever you're trading. So that makes it more feasible. And the conditions which are in the MENA region at the moment, that is more flexible with other regions as well. That is one of the point to be, from my point, to be very attractive, this region for forex trading especially. So overall, my outlook will be much more positive in this segment for this region, apart from the other regions, maybe the regulators, as they are making it more tighter. There may be a little bit of concern, but this region, obviously not, that is the biggest concern at the moment. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you very much. Well, that concludes our first panel session of the morning. If we can all just put our hands together and say thank you for our speakers. Lovely. And our next panel session will be back in the same room at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I will hand back over to our lovely moderator for the day. Thank you.